Hey guys, how's it going? So I am back with another reading journal video. So today we are going to be filling up my reading journal starting from January and then continuing on until basically the end of March, I guess, considering it is the 22nd at the minute when I'm filming this. So ideally, I did want to be making a video a lot sooner than this to fill in my journal, because after I made the initial video, I was super excited to get stuck in and start doing some reading journal bits and pieces. But then I realized I kind of wanted to buy a stamp to mark out the readings that I was going to give my books. So I bought a stamp, but the thing is it took the stamp a long time to get here. So it literally only got here a couple of days ago. So now I can finally film this video, but I'll just show you guys right here. So this is the stamp. Literally, this is what it looks like. So yeah, I bought this to do my readings for my books because I know a lot of people use stickers to do this, but I thought it would be good to do a stamp because obviously, you know, this is like a one-time purchase kind of thing and I can use it a lot of times rather than having to spend a lot of money on 5-star stickers. As much as I love to buy stickers, I thought this would maybe be something a little bit more handy to use. So I waited a long time to get this. It literally took like 2 weeks, but I have it now, and I'll link it down in the description below if you guys also want to get one. But yeah, so that's what's been holding me up on my reading journal journey, waiting for this stamp. But yeah, so anyway, let's get into this. This will probably mostly be a sped up video, I'm not gonna lie, because I have so much to fill in this and I don't know how long it's gonna take. So rather than subject you guys to a lot of me rambling while I'm trying to fill this in, I will probably speed bits up, but we'll just kind of explain what we're doing here before we speed things up. So first of all, what we need to fill in is this page. We need to color in some of the books because as of right now, I think I've read about 6 or 7 books this year already, so we got to fill this in. I've got to fill in my everyday tracker for the first 2 months of the year, well, most likely 3. We've got to do our rainbow challenge, and then in here is all of the stickers that I prepped for this video. So as you guys can see, we've got some books here. So we have these, and then we have these. So these are the first 6 books that I've read this year, and then we have the next 3. I'm currently reading Sunrise on the Reaping. I started that yesterday, so we have that added as well. We've got a bunch of little stickers which I made to decorate based on the books I read. These are not fancy stickers. These are literally clip art things that I got from Canva and I've printed and crudely cut out. You guys will see I'm not an artist and not very good at cutting out stickers. So yeah, nothing fancy here, just some stuff I wanted to do for deco that are book specific. And then if I could clear all of these out of the way. I don't know how I'm going to organize all of this, honestly. But then we also have our Scribble Prints Go Sparkles. We've got some more Scribble Prints travel stickers here for one of the books. We've got our little sparkles and the bows as well to add in. I am missing stickers. I just realized, hold on, give me a second. And if all of the makeshift stickers that I have are not enough to decorate with, I also have these. These are just journaling stickers that I've accumulated over the last couple of years, and that I'm just going to use to pull in if I possibly can to add some decorative bits. And then again, if that was not enough stickers, we've got this bad boy, and this is all of my character stickers for my sticker planning. But I feel like, you know, when I'm talking about certain books, there might be some stickers in here that I could pull out as well. So yes, we are stickered up to the brim to do this reading journal situation. I have not really thought about or planned how I want my reading journal spreads to look. You'd think that since I made my first video, I would have taken some time to think about that, but I have not. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out. So let me move all of these stickers to the side here and we will figure out where they go as we go along, I think. But yeah, so that is my little intro to this video. Hopefully I don't lose any stickers as I've done that, shuffled them to the side just because they're very small and that's going to be annoying. But yeah, that is everything we have going on for this video. So without further ado, I guess we just start from the beginning and start filling in this. So yes, welcome along for the ride. Yeah, so we have these, and so I'm going to color in these to match this. And so yeah, let's get going, and I will check in with you guys when we're done. Alright, and welcome to the voiceover portion of this video. Like I said, we just started off with coloring in some of the books in our 25 books in 2025. There was not too much difficulty with this, to be honest, except for when I was using black and I kind of like encroached on the numbers a little bit. When I'm looking back at this, like the number 2, I accidentally went over the lines of that a little bit, so it's hard to see the number, but aside from that, I think it looks good. And then we move into our everyday tracker. So obviously it's already been 3 months out of the year, so to find the days that I read, I just looked up my reading journal stats in Storygraph, and I just scrolled through and marked in all the days where I marked that I read things. I did accidentally mark one of the days in February by accident, but it's fine, I didn't color it in, and so we have that. Initially when I did this page, I was thinking about doing it like very color coordinated and nice, but then I was kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to go with whatever color I feel like doing. So that's kind of why we have the 3 different colors here. And so yeah, we're just going with vibes on that. Obviously I could have done it where I just colored them in like brown or something to match the rest of the deco on the page, but I kind of thought it would be fun if it was a little bit more colorful. Also, it's really interesting to see my reading habits this way. So for example, in January, I was reading a little bit sporadically, but then in February and March, I feel like I really got the groove of reading. And you can kind of tell when I stopped and started a new book, because I usually left at least a day or 2 between before starting a new one. But yeah, so that is that page. And then we move on to my Rainbow Reading Challenge, and oh my gosh, I just realized I accidentally stuck in one of the book stickers upside down. You guys probably can't see it, but looking at my journal now, I can see it. So yeah, basically the vibe that I have for this was I printed out the book covers and then I tried to color in the box to kind of best match the color of the book. And so far we've read 3 books in the reading challenge. So we have orange, blue and indigo. So we have, for orange, we have How to Kill Men and Get Away with It. For blue, we have The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella. And then for indigo, we have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Now, I will say I'm kind of cheating a little bit with Sunrise on the Reaping, because I would say that the main color of that book is actually more black than the purple color in it. But I was like, that's kind of the closest one that I think I'm going to get for this. So I kind of used it anyway. And so I did that, and I colored in the swatches to match, and then I colored in the rainbow at the top to go along with that. Although I noticed that the rainbow at the top actually has 1 less color than the number of swatches. So the rainbow only has 6 arches, but there's 7 colors of the rainbow. And I kind of had a little mini existential crisis about it, but then I was like, you know what, it's fine. We don't have to color in the last part of the rainbow to match the last swatch. They're both kind of like purpley colors anyway. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's kind of what I have for that. Next, we move on to our actual monthly spreads. So this, I had no idea what to do. Like literally, what freaks me out more than anything is starting on a completely blank page. So this was scary, but I kind of decided, because the first books of the year were dark colored themed, I kind of wanted to go with like this dark navy color. And also I had a lot of deco bits in that color. So I had these dots from Randy Dot Plans. I had some swatches from Planner Face, and I just kind of went with it. Also, I will link all of the sticker shops and things that you see me using in the description below if you guys are wondering where I got any of my stickers. But yeah, so we did the top, which is very not my favorite. So obviously I started in one corner and then I added deco to the other corner, but then I realized there was nothing in the middle and I didn't really know how to bridge those two together. So you'll see me move my January Reads sticker from the left hand side to the middle just to kind of have something there. It still doesn't look amazing. I kind of wish I had more deco bits to kind of bridge the top so that it looked more cohesive, but it is what it is. it's how it is. It doesn't look so terrible when you see the full page together, but initially when I was doing it, I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. But I think it's fine. It's growing on me the more I'm looking at it. So the first book that I read of the year was Game Over Girl. So I put it in with the little stamp underneath. And actually, my only criticism about the stamp is I do wish it was a little bit smaller. I also kind of wish it didn't have the line across it, because it means that every time that I do a book review, I kind of have to have it in this uniform way because of the size of the stamp and also because of the line. If it didn't have the line, I could probably do it a little differently, and move my placement of the stars and stuff, but the line really throws me off. So that's my only criticism about the stamp, but it is what it is. It kind of gives a nice uniform layout to the books, just because I have to do it this way every time, with the book in the middle and then the stamp. So I guess that's kind of nice. And then on the right-hand side, I put in my thoughts for the book. So Game Over Girl was the first book of the year. It was an Amazon Prime first read, which I collect. So basically, if you guys are part of Amazon Prime, you have the option to get these Prime Reading Selects. So basically, every month they will email you a selection of books, and you can choose one for free. And these are basically just books that are going to be released within the next month, or the month after. I think you get them like a month early, and you can get them for free, or if you don't have Prime and you're still part of the system, you can get it for like 99p or something. I don't pay for Prime anymore, so I get mine for 99p. But anyway, I have gotten one of these Amazon Prime first reads books every month since I signed up, and I don't always read them, so I have a backlog of these books that I've chosen. So the first book of the year was one of them, and I asked my fiance to choose it, and he actually chose a good one. I really enjoyed this one. It's kind of like set in a virtual reality kind of thing. This girl goes to the school where she's chosen for this virtual reality project, and they kind of get sucked into the world, because it's like, you go into the virtual reality world, you can create whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. The girl also has a dark backstory, so that was kind of interesting to find that out. And then towards the end, they do something that I did not expect them to do, and in my head they were kind of setting up for a sequel, but I didn't really like that, because I was like, well, we don't know if we're going to get a sequel. So I would have rather they either included that kind of thing from the beginning and made that the whole thing of the story, or just didn't do it at all. And if they were going to do another book, maybe start it with that, because it kind of got me really interested again towards the end. And then I realized the book was ending, so I was kind of like, oh, well, I kind of wish you didn't do that thing anymore. But yeah, so that was my first read of the year. We decorated it with some virtual looking hearts, and then I just colored them in blue to match the deco of the page. And then the second book of the year that I read was 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. Now, I didn't realize until I started reading this that this is actually part of a series. So there's a series of crime novels by Steve, and they're about this lawyer called Eddie Flynn. Thankfully for me, you don't actually have had to have read the other books in the series to read this one. So I think the actual crime stories are standalone in the series, but the series is all about the same lawyer who solves the cases. So yeah, I was able to read the standalone and I really enjoyed it. I think I might go back and read the rest of the stories. I don't really care about the lawyer that much, to be honest. She's like the main character. I was more interested in the crime story, but the crime story was really good. So I might read the rest of the series just to see if those like crime stories are also as good, because I really enjoyed this one and I thought it was really good. Basically, 13 is about this serial killer who gets on the jury of his own trial, like his own murder trial, and he tries to get away with murder basically by being on the jury and prosecuting someone else, but it doesn't go to plan. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Then moving on to the next page. So this one is for the book Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and it is part of the Inheritance game series. This one is actually a collection of short stories, so that's why I knew I kind of wanted to do a full page spread for it, because I was kind of thinking maybe I'll talk about each story individually. But when I was writing in these little areas, I realized I didn't actually have that much space, so I didn't talk about every single story individually. I kind of give general thoughts about each one, and I split it up into 2 different sections because I knew that I wanted to put in this little art photo. So this little picture I just found on Pinterest, it's literally just fan art of what people think the Hawthorne brothers look like, and then I added little bits of deco which kind of relate to each short story, and I used these little pink dots from Randy Dot Plans to add some more color. I'm not gonna lie, I think this just looks okay. I kind of wish I had more elements to bring in for these books, but obviously I guess I could go back and add some. And then other books I read in February. I read quite a lot this month, considering, well, I think I started Games Untold in January and I finished it in February. That's why I was kind of unsure about where to put this one, but mostly read in February. And then I read 3 other books, so I decided to squeeze them all on one page because I felt like I didn't have tons to say about each of them, and I actually really like how this page turned out. So the next book that I read was Molly's Game, which is a non-fiction book. It is based on Molly's real life, Molly Bloom. She ran these underground poker games in LA and then in New York, and it's all about that. It's really interesting. They also did a movie based on the book featuring Jessica Chastain, I think is the main girl, and it's really good. It's really enjoyable, so I highly recommend. I will say that I think I prefer the movie over the book just because I kind of like the drama of the movie. The main difference is in the book, they actually name real people and actors that were involved in the poker games, whereas in the movie they do not. So yeah, I highly recommend if you guys have not read it or seen the movie. I think in this case you only need to do one or the other. You don't really need to do both, but it was still interesting to read, especially because Molly did write it herself. So it's quite interesting to see things from her actual point of view as they were happening. And then the next book that I read was Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I remember that I picked this up because I wanted a Valentine's Day read. I literally read this, I think I started reading it on Valentine's Day, so I was like, yes, let's have a cute little rom-com kind of book. So the first thing that struck me about this book is that it is marketed as an enemies to lovers, but that is not what I would categorize this book as. I kind of thought it was more of a forbidden love, like we deserve to be together, but we can't be together for XYZ. Like that's the kind of book that I thought this was instead. So yeah. Not the enemies to lovers you're looking for, but it's still a really good romance story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. And so yeah, that was a nice little Valentine's read. And then to do a complete 180, the last book that I read in February was How to Kill Men and Get Away with It. And this one I really, really loved. I honestly could not put it down. I was just hooked from the very beginning. And it's actually kind of funny because as I was reading it, the beginning parts, it's so random, but this book kind of gave me the similar vibes to, there's a Gossip Girl parody book written by the author, so Cecilie von Zieziger, the author of the Gossip Girl books, did a parody book of the first book and called it Gossip Girl Psycho Killer. And in that book, Blair and Serena are serial killers and they just like randomly kill off people on the Upper East Side. And the tone of that book is very similar to the tone of How to Kill Men and Get Away with It, especially in the beginning. So, spoiler alert, in the beginning, the main character, Kitty, accidentally kills 2 men. And I thought that was really funny, honestly. And it gave me the same vibes as Gossip Girl Psycho Killer. You know, that they weren't taking the killing too seriously. It was just something that happened. And I thought that was kind of fun and I really enjoyed it. And the reason why Kitty was killing the men was honestly very valid. And so, yeah, definitely a very enjoyable read and I would highly recommend. And then finally, we move on to the last page that I did in my reading journal. So this was my March reads page. So I have 2 books here. And again, I had the same issue with doing the little title thing. I decided to go with like this green and put in the March. It looks very plain, kind of simple. And then I put in this Papershire sticker, which I didn't even realize until I placed it, but the little bunny character is reading. So it was very fitting. But I just kind of thought it fit the vibes of the first book which I read in March, which was The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella. And honestly, I picked this book up because I was also feeling kind of burnt out in real life. Not that I expected this to cure my burnout because I knew it wouldn't. I just thought it would be interesting to read a story about that, you know, just because it's like relatable. I'm going through that too, bestie. Basically, the story is the character suffering burnout, and she goes to an old seaside town that she used to go to as a child to escape, and she reconnects with herself and finds love along the way, because that's how these things always go. And Sophie Kinsella, I've read a lot of her books and I really enjoyed them, so yeah, I decided to give this a go, and I thought it was cute. I will say I thought the main character was kind of annoying. I was actually more interested in her love interest, because he was like kind of dark and broody and had his own secrets, and I was like, he's way more interesting than Sasha is. But either way, still a nice light read, nothing too serious. So I enjoyed that. And then the second book we have here is again a 180 from, a fun rom-com book about burnout. This one is called Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and it is about this woman who witnesses her son murdering someone and ends up in a time loop to try and figure out why her son has killed this guy. So basically, it's not your regular time loop where she's living the same day over and over again. It's that she keeps waking up further and further back in time. So it's like the first day she wakes up is the day before the murder, and then it's 2 days before, and then she keeps skipping back in time to important dates to figure out why her son's committed the murder in the first place. And initially wasn't in love with it. It kind of was giving cliche time loop movie vibes where, the person's lived that day before, they're trying to convince people that they're moving backwards, blah, blah, blah. I was like, not interested in that, don't care about that. But once we got past that part and we actually got into solving the murder and the mystery, that was really good and really interesting, and it had some good twists. So yeah, if you haven't read that, I would also recommend. It is by Gillian McAllister. Alright, so now that I've finished filling in all the pages, I thought I would do a little flip through to show you guys what we have so far. So first of all, we have this first page, which I don't really see changing for the foreseeable future, unless I decide to add the 2025. As I was editing my last video, I totally forgot that I said that if I do end up filling this notebook, I could add the 2025 back on the top of the 2025 reading journal. But considering how many pages I've filled in so far, and it's already March, I still don't see me filling in the whole book, so we have that. Then moving on to this page, we have so far got 9 books out of 25, which is pretty good. So I'm currently reading the 9th book, which you can't even see the number 9 on that. It's so dark because it's like the dark purple against the black. But we have that. Also didn't realize I was reading so many dark books in this corner. Like, what is this going on? But yeah, so we have that, and then we have our everyday tracker. It's coming along nicely. Though I will say that there's one day I marked by accident, which I didn't color in, which is going to be a bit annoying that pink mark is there, but you get the gist. I've been reading quite a bit anyway. And then we have 3 books in the Rainbow Reading Challenge. We just need to get 4 more. So we'll try and get some for that. Obviously, it looks a bit sparse and weird at the minute because there's not really a lot of colors, and also the orange against the blue is really jarring, so hopefully we can fill that in soon so it's not so ugly. Then we move into our January reads, and so we've got the 2 books here. I am still on the fence about the layout. I do kind of like the boxes and the way that I've done the actual book reviews. I think I need to get better at choosing decorative stickers. I think that's maybe my downfall, just because they're not cut out nicely, so they don't look nice on the page. But still, we're learning. It's a learning process. We're gonna see how things go as we go along. So we've got the first page, January. Then we move into February. This one I think looks a bit better, just because, we've got the different boxes and things going on. I do wish I had like slightly more stickers on this page, just to kind of fill it out a little bit more, to make it a little bit more decorative. Also, don't know if I said it in my voiceover, but I did realize that this book I actually read in February, so I kind of had to stick in the February at the bottom, but I think that's fine. Again, I really enjoy this page. I think it looks good. I think part of it is because I was able to pull in stickers I already had. So for example, like these stickers from Scribble Friends Co. and then like these ones from Papershire, I think kind of makes it look a little bit like more put together than the stickers I made myself, because I don't cut these out with like a program or anything. I just kind of have to manually do that. But yeah, so we've got that, and then this is the March page. So I think what I really need to focus on is trying to accentuate the months a bit better. I need to like have more decorative stickers around that. In terms of like the actual booklets and stuff, I'm not mad about it. I do wish I had cut this clock out better, because this is shocking in comparison to the other things on the page. But yeah, so that is my reading journal so far, guys. I hope you have been enjoying following me on this journey. Do I think I'm going to do a lot more of these videos? I'm not sure. I might, just in terms of it means I can talk about the books and stuff, but I don't know if like it's really worth it or if it's interesting, just because like now that I have, you know, done 3 months in a row and kind of have a formula for how the layout and stuff's gonna be, it's gonna be very repetitive. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think anyway. I could still do them, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments below what you guys are reading this year. Also, I know that I didn't put in the Hunger Games, and I guess I could technically put it in here now just because I already know what I'm doing, but I think I'm gonna leave it just in case I have some other kind of, you know, spur of inspiration or something where I'm like, I want to change how I want to do the layouts and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna see where we go. But yeah, anyway, like I said, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.